My fingers are already moving across the console, adjusting frequencies. The cool metal of the brass key in my pocket presses against my thigh. I'm awake, but the transition feels incomplete, like a skipped frame. The low thrum of the colony's life support system, usually a comfort, now vibrates with an unfamiliar pitch. Across the room, Lena smiles at her own screen, her eyes wide and unblinking, fixed on something I can't see. Her smile stretches a fraction too far, holding. It's the kind of smile that doesn't quite reach the eyes. I turn back to my own display. The primary monitor, usually a cascade of data from Earth, is dark. No signal. That's expected. We've known for weeks. But the secondary screen, the one meant for internal diagnostics, shows a slow, rhythmic pulse. It's a signal, clear and strong, originating from deep within the Martian crust. A new broadcast, and it's not ours. I force my fingers to continue their work, adjusting the console's output, a practiced rhythm masking the tremor in my chest. The low thrum of the life support system shifts again, a subtle off-key hum that vibrates through the floor. It feels like the entire station is breathing out of sync. A flicker of the overhead lights casts Lena's face in stark relief. Her smile is still there, unnervingly wide. Her eyes roll back, showing only white, but the smile remains fixed. Her voice, usually soft, comes out flat, distorted, like a recording played at the wrong speed. The signal is the pattern. The pattern is the truth. Do not seek the source. Do not seek the source. She repeats it, a slow, mechanical echo. Then, her eyes snap forward, blinking, her smile softening to normal. She turns back to her screen, humming a tuneless melody. I didn't move. The brass key in my pocket feels cold, a tiny anchor in the shifting reality. I have to decide. Follow the rule, break it, or just observe what happens next. Lena's words, "Do not seek the source," echo in the quiet hum of the station. I didn't move, just watched her return to her screen. My own primary monitor remained dark, but the secondary, showing the Martian signal, now flickered. I leaned closer, my breath fogging the polished surface of the console. In the faint reflection, I saw my own face. But it was wrong. My reflection blinked a fraction of a second after I did. I raised my hand slowly. The reflection's hand lifted, then paused, hovering in the air for a beat before mirroring my movement. That felt wrong. I tried again, a quick, sharp nod. My reflection tilted its head slowly, almost thoughtfully, before snapping back to match me. It was a delay, a subtle independence. The brass key in my pocket felt heavy, a cold comfort against my thigh. I wasn't seeking the source, not yet. I was just watching. I tried to run diagnostics on the secondary screen. My fingers moved over the console, inputting the standard sequence. Nothing happened. The screen remained frozen, the Martian signal still pulsing, still flickering. I tried again. A different protocol, a manual override. The system beeped once, a flat, dead sound, then displayed an error message I'd never seen before. Protocol null, expert override denied. My training, years of it, meant nothing. I checked the primary console, hoping for a flicker of life, a familiar data stream. It was still dark. A black mirror reflecting only my tired face. The reflection blinked precisely with me this time, but the memory of its delay lingered. I felt a cold dread settle in my stomach. My expertise, my purpose here, was useless. The station hummed around me, a constant, indifferent drone. Lena was still at her screen, unmoving. The brass key in my pocket, felt like a dead weight, offering no answers, only a cold, metallic presence. I was alone with a broken system and a signal that defied all logic. I push away from the console, the dead screen a constant reminder of my failure. Lena is still there, smiling, lost to whatever she sees. I need to move to find answers, or at least a working terminal. The corridor outside the comms lab feels different, longer. The lighting flickers with an unfamiliar rhythm, casting strange, elongated shadows. I walk, my boots echoing too loudly in the sudden quiet. I pass a door marked Hydroponics A, but the panel beside it shows waste reclamation. I hesitate, then push it open. Inside, a narrow, unlit passage stretches into darkness, smelling faintly of ozone and something metallic, not soil. This isn't hydroponics. It isn't waste reclamation either. It's nowhere. A fine, almost invisible dust coats the floor, disturbed in places by faint, circular impressions, like something heavy had been dragged. I feel a growing urgency, a need to keep moving, to not stop and examine the impossible. The brass key in my pocket feels cold against my palm, a small, solid anchor in a world that is rapidly unraveling. My breath hitches. The passage ended abruptly at a rough-hewn wall. Not metal like the rest of the colony, but something dark and porous. My hand brushed against a hidden recess. Inside, a stack of thin metallic sheets. They felt cold, almost slick. I pulled one out. It was a diagram etched with glowing lines, not blueprints for a habitat, but schematics for displacements. Familiar corridors were drawn, then warped, stretched, or folded back on themselves. Arrows indicated stress points and rerouting vectors. Another sheet showed a timeline detailing event triggers and structural shifts. My own comms lab was marked, a small red asterisk next to signal disruption. This wasn't an accident. This was engineered. I traced a finger along a line, feeling the raised texture of the etching. It pulsed faintly under my touch, a low hum vibrating through my bones. The brass key in my pocket felt heavy, a counterweight to this impossible truth. Someone was doing this, deliberately, and I was inside it. The air grew colder, carrying a faint, metallic tang. I'm still in the rough-hewn passage, the metallic sheets clutched in my hand. The hum from the etched diagram intensifies, vibrating through the stone. A low groan echoes from deeper within the wall, not the usual structural settling. This sound is organic, like rock grinding against itself. The passage narrows abruptly ahead, the rough-hewn walls pressing inward. I can see the metal of the colony's main corridor just beyond, but the gap is shrinking rapidly. Dust sifts down from the ceiling, thick and choking. A section of the wall to my left, previously solid, now ripples, like water. It distorts the light, making the exit shimmer with an impossible fluidity. I press myself against the opposite wall, the cold brass key digging into my palm. It feels like the only solid thing left. I have to move or be crushed. The choice is simple: push through the shrinking gap or risk the rippling wall. I choose the known constriction. I wedge myself forward, feeling the stone scrape against my shoulders, tearing at my suit. The passage groans again, louder this time, a sound of immense shifting weight. I push through the narrowing gap. The stone grinds against my shoulders, tearing the suit. I feel a sharp pain. The passage groans, a sound of immense shifting weight. My breath hitches. The air grows thick with dust. I can barely see. The exit shimmers ahead. It seems to stretch, then snap back like a rubber band. I blink. It does it again. The metallic sheets in my hand vibrate. The hum from the etched diagram intensifies. A whisper brushes my ear. It's my own name. But it's not my voice. It's distorted, echoing from all directions at once. I press the brass key into my palm, grounding myself. The passage walls seem to breathe. They expand and contract, slowly, rhythmically. I see faces in the shifting dust, fleeting, indistinct. They watch me. My heart pounds. I stumble forward, my hands scraping against the rough stone. The whispers grow louder, overlapping, a chorus of my name. I feel a cold touch on my neck. I spin around. But there's nothing there. Just the rippling wall, now closer, almost touching me. The suit tears further. I feel blood. The passage groans again, a deep, guttural sound. It feels like the passage itself is alive, closing in. I have to get out. I stand in the main corridor, the air still and sterile around me. The immediate pressure is gone, but the silence feels heavy, almost suffocating. My suit is ripped, a jagged tear across my left shoulder, and a thin line of dried blood darkens the fabric beneath. The skin there feels raw, a constant reminder. I press the brass key into my palm. Its familiar weight a small comfort against the phantom ache in my neck. I keep glancing at the walls, expecting them to ripple, to breathe, but they remain solid, unmoving. Yet the edges of my vision blur, the corridor lights seeming to stretch and contract, a subtle, unsettling distortion. The whispers from the passage still echo in my ears, a faint, distorted chorus of my name, making me flinch at every creak of the station. I know I'm safe, but the feeling of being watched persists, a cold, unseen presence just beyond my sight. The world feels misaligned, a fraction off its axis. My fingers are already moving across the console, adjusting frequencies. The cool metal of the brass key in my pocket presses against my thigh, a familiar weight. My left shoulder throbs, a dull ache beneath the patched fabric of my suit, a constant reminder of what the walls can do. The low thrum of the colony's life support system, usually a comfort, now vibrates with an unfamiliar pitch, a subtle off-key hum that grates. Across the room, Lena smiles at her own screen, her eyes wide and unblinking, fixed on something I can't see. Her smile stretches a fraction too far, holding. "The loop is the only constant," she murmurs, her voice flat, eyes rolled back. "Awareness is merely a burden. The design is absolute." She blinks, her smile vanishing, and turns back to her work, humming softly. I log her words, the chill settling deep. This isn't a series of events, I realize, but a single, unending moment, replaying with subtle variations. My observations, my scars, my knowledge, they don't offer escape. They only confirm the permanence of this silent, objective horror. I am merely a witness, trapped within its endless, repeating design.